Well, uh, Shoot. Unravel check-in, unravel transmission. I'm still riding this wave of the shadow of compromise. And big downloads have been absorbing me coming into my system, and I want to share them with you. I've recently been going down a very specific energetic rabbit hole of moments of defying authority, being defiant towards authority. And when do we allow that defiance to move through our systems and cause us to act or move? Or when do we listen to the authority and follow the orders coming from outside of us? When are we deciding based on the information coming from outside? And when are we deciding based on the information coming from our own inner authority? This particular rabbit hole comes from watching two separate videos. One was a 9/11 survivor video. And I'll drop the link to this video, but it's powerful. Part 1 and part 2, very deeply powerful when it comes to creative expression, authenticity, what is true authority. And that 9/11 World Trade Center survival video was a very big code because within this scenario, a lot of people lost their lives. In this particular video, this survivor recalls that in the moment of the plane striking the building, they were told to stay put. The office manager told them to stay put. The whatever intercoms or whatever speaker systems was in the building were telling people not to leave, that the building was secure. And some people called down to the front door security, and security said the same thing. Don't go anywhere, the building is secure. And so most, if not all, the people that were inside of both buildings were at a junction point of authority. Do I listen to the authority that's blaring from the outside around me, or do I listen to my gut, which is saying, get the F out of here? Do I listen to this gut feeling, or do I listen to the outside world? And this is a study of compromise. When do we compromise out of fear? When do we compromise out of people pleasing? When do we compromise out of following the orders or following along with a group around us? And when do we move through that compromise to get to the shadow of competence? A deep, nurturing service. Something that is more than your own fear, that's more than your own self. But coming from the true feeling of yourself. So coming back to this scenario, this person followed the outside authority for some time within this story. And long story short, at a certain point, they decided, okay, I'm out of here. Fire started to show up, smoke started to come into the office, and they were like, okay, we can't stay here. So they started to exit, they started to leave, to make choices to get out. And long story short, this person is going down the steps, makes it to something like the 20-something, 22nd floor, something like that. And they were just adrenaline, running, rushing, using the knowledge of his awareness of structural integrity, because this person, their professional, was in structural integrity. And so they had a sense of where to go, what areas of the building to be in, what pockets of the building to protect themselves. And it's wild, because not only was it the knowledge of the structural integrity, but it was also the blessing of the prayer from his wife, because he called his wife, and his wife gave him the information that the building was hit by a plane. And he used that information to navigate his situation. Meanwhile, the wife was praying, sending blessings, raining blessings on the atmosphere. Please get him out at all costs. Surround him, protect him. God, Jesus, protect him, protect him. Back into the building, he runs down the steps. He starts hearing a freight train coming from above him, which he understood to be the buildings buckling and coming down. He found a corner in that stairwell. He balled himself into a ball. And he was very clear in that moment that this was his last moments alive. Like, he felt in that moment, oh, this is going to be how I die. And he squeezed himself into the tightest ball that he could. And he stuffed himself into that corner, which he felt was maybe the safest thing to do at the time. Safest, most place to protect his form, protect his body, and maybe have any kind of ounce of safety. And the building came down. He started to get tossed around. He started to get hit by rocks. He said he fell several floors down through the rubble, and he just tried to keep himself as a ball. And then he got hit into the head and he got knocked out. And when he came to, he was greeted by the sky, clear blue sky. The World Trade Center in rubbles around him. And he was on a slab, a rock slab of the building, with a huge pit in front of him, and in huge pits to his right and to his left, and just rubble behind him. And he was still alive, with a broken ankle and a little bit battered and bruised from being hit by debris. And when he came to, he felt like he wasn't alive. He felt like he was hovering above himself. And that this was actually the afterlife, he thought. But then he realized, oh, this isn't the afterlife. I'm alive. How am I alive right now? There's more to that story. I highly recommend that video. But in this video, it really took me to a reconnection with that edge of death, that intensity. When you're right on the edge of something, you have to think of everything, or you have to think of nothing, and everything is rushing, and you just have to move and do whatever you know to find safety. But also the freedom from compromising your own health, your own well-being, your own sense of integrity, your own self-worth for someone else's instruction. And how many people died in that building because they listened when they were told not to go anywhere, when they were told not to move. You can watch many other survival stories, and they all have a similar story of people saying, of them hearing on the loudspeaker or in their office, don't go anywhere, don't move. Even to the degree of very aggressively getting from their office authority, don't go anywhere. If you go anywhere, you'll be fired. If you go anywhere. Where in my life am I still following the crowd? Where in my life am I still following an outdated authority? Where in my life am I compromising my own truth, my own knowing, my own voice for the voice of another? Video two. Video two was Miss Mexico becoming Miss Universe. In this particular video, Miss Mexico was being, let's say, harassed, offended in public amongst her fellow contestants for the faults of her organization, not necessarily for the faults of anything that she did. And so she stood up while he was speaking. It was like, hey, I don't approve of this. This doesn't work for me. This isn't why I'm here, to be heavied out by you. And he told her to sit down. He told her, why are you standing up? I'm still talking. Sit down. And she stood up and she spoke her heart again. And he said, this isn't the time for you to be speaking. Sit down. And then she got up and left. Apparently, her own self-worth was worth more than becoming Miss Universe. She was told, just like the people in the 9/11 building, to sit down and not move. Then that boss, which was a man, told the rest of these women that started to get up and leave with Miss Mexico, if you leave, you're not going to be a part of this ceremony anymore. If anybody wants to continue, stay, and you will get to continue. Some stayed, some left. 2 weeks later, Miss Mexico was asked the question. She was allowed to continue. And she was asked the question, and her final question, what would you do with your power as Miss Universe? What would you use this platform for? Miss Mexico said, as Miss Universe, I would empower everybody to believe in their authenticity, to believe in your self-worth, because you are worth everything and you are so powerful and your voice is needed in this world. And then she became Miss Universe. Many say that she became Miss Universe because she walked out that day in the face of the authority, in the face of a very offensive man. And because of that additional action that was witnessed on video, she won Miss Universe. So here's another scenario of people being told what to do and what not to do. Bosses, authorities telling you what to do, what not to do. And putting you in a position of possibly compromising your self-worth, compromising your internal navigational system. These scenarios, they're just alive in my being right now because it is so important to me to not only be aware of what's going on around me in my community, what's everybody feeling and thinking, where's everybody moving, and also what is my gut saying, what is my inner authority saying, what is God through me saying, and what is the balance between those two worlds? How do I stay true to my own self? How do I stay true to my authentic way of expressing my voice, and how important it is what we're doing in Unravel, which is to tease apart those two worlds, so that we can be more in tune with how life wants to grow, how life wants to evolve, how life wants to give us more energy, more life, more health, more success, more presence, more relationship. Stay in tune. And I love that I said tease apart these two worlds, because that's the same as saying unravel these two worlds. Unravel ourselves from the tangle of these authorities that are outside of us that go against our own inner authority. Even as someone who guides and leads Unravel, it is my mission and it is my deepest focus to guide and lead Unravel through supporting everybody and feeling the truth and the heightened awareness of what your own inner authority, what your own inner guidance, of what your own true authentic direction is speaking. That is the greatest way that I can lead, is by not only setting my own example of that, but looking for that in you. And so I wanted to share what's really thick and what's really alive in my heart right now with you, and give you a glimpse into the shadow of compromise as it comes online for me in a really powerful way. What does it mean to have competence? What does it mean to know clearly which direction, which pathway, to be really deep in the knowing of who you are and how you move in this world? I'm curious what you think about this. I'm curious what you feel. I'm curious what comes up in you. Sending you so much love on this Friday afternoon. Sending you so much love. I see na Marcos. I see you now. Go, 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 go. And I go, and I go. Something wild just happened. I just got greeted by some goats. Let's see. I can't flip the camera from you, but check this out. They're goats outside of the car. If you know what the goat medicine means, please let me know, because I'm in the middle of Los Angeles. And there's a group of goats that just walked up to the car. Let's say that I am a goat. I'm a Capricorn. Grounding. I'm offering some grounding, some really potent grounding through this transmission today. Ooh.